and friends and family members, guys, on this walk. First of all, you have that like button, you have that share button, y'all subscribe to the channel. Also, too, man, donate, don't hate, guys. All right, the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So I'm asking you guys. It's gonna be a lot of demons and a lot of your friends and your family. See, you're gonna be their family, right? You're gonna be their friend, but they're not gonna be your family, and they're not gonna be your friend. See, a lot of chosen ones, you get it mixed up, man. A lot of y'all get it mixed up. Y'all think just because you are dealing with someone and you got a connection with the Most High, you think the people around you is going to have a connection with the Most High as well. You know, just because someone is nice, right, to you, uh, just because someone is around you, that doesn't mean that they don't have a secretive agenda. A lot of friends, a lot of family, we're gonna have to depart from these people, right? You know what I'm saying? That's just like, because they're gonna have bad spirits that they're carrying, right? Through their actions, the Bible says you'll know a tree by the fruit that it bears. So a lot of people, um, that you so called your friends, your family, just because they your blood, that doesn't mean that they your family. We all have a spiritual family on this planet as chosen ones. A lot of you chosen ones that I understand that, right? That your immediate family might not be your spiritual family. The Bible says if you're persecuted or in one city or in one state, flee to the next. It's gonna be a lot of friends and family. They gonna really be against you. And the battle is not yours. The battle is the Lord's. Because the Bible says if God be for you, then who could be against you, right? So you don't have to go back and forth with these friends and family members. Some of your friends, you gonna just have to cut ties with them. You know, um, they gonna want to smoke, drink. You don't, you no longer do that anymore, right? I'm glad that I don't, smoke or drink. Yeah, I used to drink, not, like only like 1 or 2 cups, like on occasions, but I don't even do that no more. Done with all that type of stuff, guys. You gonna have to depart from people that don't want to grow, that don't want to have a relationship with God. That's just how it is when you are chosen. And when you're a part of 144,000. A lot of people, they don't want a relationship with God, right? They just want a relationship with the world. They want to do worldly things, right? And if you got a connection with the Most High, if you got a connection with God, people, they're gonna talk about you, right? They're gonna call you lame. They're gonna call you all this different type of stuff because they're at a low frequency. Chosen ones, you gotta be careful about who you hanging around. Everybody who you hang around is not your friend. It's not your family. It's just the truth. A lot of family members, they're gonna start hating on you when God start opening doors that no man can close, that no woman can close. They're gonna start hating on you. They're gonna start to try to compete with you. They're gonna try to say little slick jokes, right? Give you backhanded compliments, right? You gotta watch out for all that type of stuff, guys. You know, um, you know, your own family can be your worst enemy, especially when you start making money. When God start bless you with money, your own family, they could be trying to bring you down financially instead of helping you financially. It's like everybody want to put the world on your shoulder, right? When the Bible says faith without works is dead. A lot of people, they're lazy. They don't want to grow. They don't want to elevate, right? They just want to leech off of us chosen ones and a lot of your friends. It's like when you up, that's when everybody want to come around. But when you down, no one is nowhere to be found. These people, there's not gonna be nowhere to be found once they drain you of God's blessings that God put in your life. The breakthrough is coming. The breakthrough is near, chosen ones. You know what I'm saying? It all works to symbiotic connection. This is what happens when you start to grow. You start to outgrow people as well. When you start to grow spiritually and financially, you start to outgrow people. It's okay to outgrow people. Everybody's not at your best interest. The majority of people is not at your best interest. A lot of people are users. A lot of people are nosy. They scouts. Friends and family members, they're going to be scouting you out. Trying to figure out what you got going on, how much money you got, trying to count your pockets. All this type of stuff. When God start blessing you, you guys got to be on the lookout for that, man. You know, chosen ones. It's okay to cut people off. You know, you're gonna have to make sacrifices in this life. You know, when it come down to cutting off family members, cutting off friends. No, I'm not afraid to cut off family members. I'm not afraid to cut off friends. I know that God is my best friend. I know that God, you know, I'm in unification with God. You know, I'm covered in the blood of God. God is my family. You know, as long as I got God, as long as I'm a part of God's family, that's all that matters. My immediate family, uh, you know, I love my immediate family, but I'm not gonna allow them to bring me down once God start blessing me. You know, my breakthrough is near. You know, you chosen ones, man. You got to be careful about who you call friend, who you call family. You know, you could be calling people friend and family, and they could be your worst enemy. You know, and the Bible says the wicked watch the righteous and seek to try to destroy us. They gonna try to destroy us. You know what I'm saying? You know, us chosen ones, our electromagnetic frequency is at a higher level than the average person. So by we putting in the work to get to where we want to be in life, a lot of people, they're gonna be shocked. They're gonna be wondering like, "Whoa, how God blessing him or her with all this money?" You know, all this stuff. Because like I said, the average person is worshiping money. They're not worshiping God. You don't want to be blessing. This is why you gotta watch out who you give your money to, right? Who you share your blessings with, because you could be sharing your blessings with a succubus, a Jezebel. The average person is like that guy. Got the Jezebel spirit, got the succubus spirit. Well, if they're a man or woman, it's not always women, it's men too. A lot of jealous men out here. You know, for you guys that chosen ones, you guys got to be careful, man. A lot of men don't want to see other men win. A lot of women don't want to see other chosen women win. They don't want to see them win. They want to see us lose. They want to see us stuck in the same position, like they're stuck in the same position, right? Because they refuse to change their mindset. They refuse to. They refuse to sacrifice. They refuse to isolate themselves, so God can, you know, protect them, you know, through salvation. And then after that, that's when God give you elevation. But people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to make those sacrifices. They don't want to get closer to God, right? No, God can bring you out of darkness into the marvelous light. But a lot of people, they don't want to be brought out of darkness. They love the darkness. They love the world. You know what I'm saying? The more you love the world, the more it deviates your relationship with God. The more it pulls you away from God. The more it takes you out of your sovereign capacity. The more it pulls you away from your birthright. So you guys gotta understand that, man. No, it really get that deep. You know what I'm saying? Your own friends, I watched my own friends start acting funny toward me. No, I thought, you know, certain people was like my best friend. I watched them start to act funny towards me. You know, because I don't really need them in my life. God just exposed them, man. You know, God said was hidden, you know, will eventually get revealed. What's kept in secret will be shot on the housetop. You know, God gonna expose so much stuff to you during this walk. When you walking on this righteous path. You know, chosen ones, be mindful, man. Be careful who you calling friend. Be careful who you calling family. You know, your own family can be trying to bring you down. Because a lot of times that's what family do. You know, when God start blessing you, keep it a secret. It's only between you and God. Your blessings. Don't start telling people how much money you make. Because that's how much money people want to take. The number you saying. That's how much money they want to take. No, people don't care about you. You know, people don't care about us chosen ones. You know, they only pretend like they care about us when we up. Chosen ones, you guys got to be careful. Especially, like I said, when you get to another level in life, when God bless you, right? When you start to be real fruitful in life, people, they gonna be around you to be yes men. You gonna have a lot of yes men coming around you. People that's saying yes sir. You know, people that's just being so nice to you. You know, older men saying yes sir to you. You know, women saying yes sir to you. You gotta You know, men saying yes ma'am to you, women saying yes ma'am to you. You guys got to be careful trolling them with that.